Okay, so I'm going to show you a trick that somebody showed me a while back that has been extremely helpful for designing quilts in Illustrator and lining up blocks after you draw your blocks, then to line them all up very quickly and efficiently so that you can play with color and get on with things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste two blocks in here that I've been working on for a project. And let me make them first a little bit smaller so that I have more space. So I have these two quilt blocks, and you'll notice that right now the pieces are all individual so that I can play with color if I want. So I can change the color of that one if I want to. I'm going to Command Z that because I don't really want to change the color, but you can see that they're not, every piece is individual right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is select one block at a time and then group that block together. So Command G, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this block here. Select all of that block and hit Command G so that now these two blocks are grouped individually. Now I'm going to copy and paste these blocks a few times so that I have, say, one row of quilt blocks here, but I don't want them lined up because I want to show you the trick. So let's say you have blocks scattered like this and you want to put them all lined up. And the way that I used to do this was to try and just with the mouse get them just so, and you can zoom in and try to get them just right, which is extremely hard. It's very hard to get them lined up and they never end up being perfectly aligned. So the trick is this. What you want to do is select all of the blocks together. So click and drag to select all. Then you're going to choose one block to align all of the other blocks to. So this is my key block that I'm using to align all of these other blocks to. So after I've done that, I'm going to choose over here the vertical align, and that's if I click vertical align center in my align tab here in the align toolbox, it's going to snap all of these so that their centers are all lining up together. And while they're all still selected, I'm going to hit this here, horizontal distribute space, under this distribute spacing menu. I'm going to click that, and all of these blocks are going to snap into position, one right next to the other without any spaces in between. Now after I've done that, I want this design to be alternating quilt blocks, staggered quilt blocks. So I'm going to grab these now, and I'm going to hit Option Command or Alt Command on a PC, and I'm going to drag those while holding Alt in Command and holding the left mouse. Or the left mouse button. I'm going to drag these and drop them. Then I'm going to, since these are all going to be still grouped together in whole blocks, I'm going to select this one now, hit Option Command left mouse button, and then that will automatically copy and paste it. So I can drag and drop that here. Now with the second row, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Select all, choose my key block that I want to align everything to, align them in the center, and then I'm going to hit distribute spacing, and everything's going to snap together with no spaces in the horizontal line here. So now the next thing I'm going to do is select each row individually. So first I'll select this one, and then I'm going to group those into one single group as a row. So I'm going to hit Command G now, and then I want to do the same exact thing to this row here. Select them all and hit Command G. Well, you can hit Command G or you can do it this way, which is right click the mouse and then you can go to this here. So there's two ways to do that. You can hit Command G or you can right click the mouse and then go down here. We'll see, it says ungroup now, but you know what I mean. So once these rows are grouped together, the next thing I'm going to do is the same exact, when I was lining up the individual blocks on the horizontal plane, now I'm going to align these rows vertically. So I select all, I'll choose the top row as my key that I want to align the rest of the rows to. I'm going to align them here to the horizontal align center, and that's going to line those blocks up perfectly center. And then while they're still selected, I will choose vertical distribute, and that's going to snap those two rows together so that they're touching here along this line. Whoops, well, that was a mistake. Command Z. So that they're aligned here along the center without any space between. Now once I've done that, I can select both of these rows, and I can either move them wherever I want as a unit, or I can copy and paste them the way that I did before using Option Command while holding the left mouse button down and dragging. So I can do that one time, and I'll do it another time or as many times as I like. And now these are all pretty aligned, but as you can see, I can move these rows around because they're grouped like so. And now I can select all of these just as I did before, choose a key row to align the rest of the rows to, align them center, and then distribute the space evenly in accordance with the row that's selected, which is the first row, and they all snap into position. Okay, so once they're all snapped into position, and you have, go back one more. Okay, so once they're all snapped to position, you should have your rows still grouped together in this fashion, the way I'm showing you here. So when I click on this, it selects this entire row because I made them into a group. Now to ungroup things, and you can either right click on whichever group it is. So if I'm choosing this group here, right click and choose ungroup, or you can hit Shift Command G, and that will ungroup this entire row. The fastest way to do this is to select all of your groups at one time. So I'm going to select the entire quilt top and hit Shift Command G, and that should then ungroup all of my rows. So now what I have are grouped blocks. And if I do that one more time by selecting all and hitting Shift Command G, now what I should have is everything ungrouped and just individual pieces that I can select and change the colors of. Now once everything's ungrouped and I should add that before I multiplied all of these blocks so many times, I made sure that I had them, the colors of the blocks set up the way that I want. It's in grayscale right now so that I can see the contrast really well, but when I multiply the blocks, it's much easier to have I like to do it in grayscale because it makes it easier later. So we'll say this piece in the center of this block in particular, I know the colors all look similar, but this is the only one of that particular gray in the entire quilt. So when I choose this here, which is select similar object, I have it set to fill color. So if I select one of these anywhere in the quilt, and then I hit this select similar, it will automatically select all of that color, that particular gray in the entire quilt, and then I can very quickly and easily play with colors and what I want them to be. So by doing that, now it's going to select all of that particular, let's change it to that. And the same for this. And it just makes it very, very quick. But the key is that you have to have some kind of color system set up before you multiply all your blocks. Otherwise, you'll have to go back through and select every single one. So if you have a different gray for every individual piece, then you can use the select similar object, and it makes your workflow quite fast. And so that's just another helpful tip to streamlining your workflow and designing quilts just a little bit faster. So anyway, that's my tip for aligning quilt blocks, and I hope that was helpful for you.